This is Providence Television International, the game changer.
Welcome to the weekend news on Providence Television International. I am Ugbebo Ikekwa. President Bola Tinubu on Friday condemned actions of opposition parties, accusing them of deliberately misrepresenting the Electoral Act for political advantage. The president reaffirmed his administration's commitment to democratic principles and credible elections while speaking at the 4th Elective National Convention of the All Progressives Congress in Abuja, stressing that the 2026 Electoral Act emerged from a rigorous legislative process. He called on opposition parties to desist from the persistent attacks on the act, noting that the attacks were misleading and harmful to the country's democratic development. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, on Friday disclosed that the 2027 general elections is faced with a growing threat from foreign information manipulation and logistics challenges. INEC Chairman Professor Jos Amukwiton raised these concerns during the second yearly lecture of the Alumni Association of the National Institute for Security Studies in Abuja. He warned that these combined pressures are likely to widen distrust in the electoral process, undermining public confidence in governance. Former presidential candidate Peter Obi has called for a renewed commitment to national unity, urging Nigerians to look beyond ethnic and religious divisions while focusing on competence and collective progress. He stated that Nigeria's diversity should be a source of strength rather than division, citing India as a global example of how plural societies can thrive through inclusive governance and strong institutions. Mr. Obi emphasized that despite its vast size and complex mix of cultures and religions, India has evolved into a model democracy with a credible electoral system and high levels of voter participation during elections. Former Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai has been released from the custody of the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, to enable him attend the funeral of his mother. His son, Bashir El-Rufai, disclosed this on Friday night, describing his father's detention as unlawful while appreciating supporters for their solidarity. El-Rufai's mother, Omar El-Rufai, passed on Friday, 27th March. El-Rufai has been in ICPC custody since February 18, 2026, following his transfer from the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. Terrorists have abducted 6 health workers from a health center in Akure, Ondo State, in the early hours of Saturday, plunging the community into panic. Eyewitnesses disclosed that the attackers arrived in a bus around 2 a.m., forcefully entered the facility, overpowered staff, and rounded up health workers, including interns, on night duty. The victims were bundled into the vehicle and taken to an unknown location, prompting immediate concern in the area. Meanwhile, the state security outfit, Motekun, during an operation in the early hours of Saturday, successfully rescued 3 of the abducted health workers who are presently receiving treatment at the Motekun Health Facility in Akure. Plateau State Police Command has arrested several informants linked to terrorists in the state, recovering 3 locally fabricated AK-47 rifles along with other dangerous weapons. Parading the suspects before journalists in Jos on Saturday, the Commissioner of Police, CP Basi Ewa commended members of the public for providing credible information that led to the successful arrest of the informants. He further stated that the Plateau State Command remains committed to ensuring the safety of lives and property in the state. Nigeria secured a 2-1 victory over Iran in an international friendly on Friday in Antalya, Turkey, with goals from Moses Simon and Jerome Akor Adams sealing the win for the Super Eagles. The Super Eagles maintained control for much of the first half, creating several chances but failing to extend their advantage before halftime. The team, however, finished the second half with a 2-0 win, making it the second time Nigeria has recorded a victory over Iran following their Carlsberg Cup triumph in 1998. Senegal's coach Pape Thiaw on Friday insisted that Senegal is the rightful CAF champion, stressing that trophies are won on the football pitch. He was reacting to questions from journalists during a press conference in Paris about the decision to strip his team of the Africa Cup of Nations title, declaring Morocco the champions. Senegal were stripped of the title last week when the Confederation of African Football announced that it had upheld an appeal by Moroccan Football Federation insisting that Senegal had infringed tournament regulations by walking off the pitch during play. And that's the weekend news on Providence Television International. Thanks for watching. Please stay tuned.